Hello, and welcome to another episode of Young Black Mrs. I'm your host, Morgan F. And today I'm coming to you with this bonus episode, just hopping back on the mic in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month, this month of May. And this month, if you've listened to an episode, previous episodes, or I feel like I've done a couple series on mental health as well, you know how much I value being a mental health advocate, how important it is for me to be able to speak in this space. And recently, I was able to be featured on a podcast called Faith and Focus, which was just wonderful timing because I was able to speak about a few things that I want to continue to launch here on my podcast, which is my friendship series that I've been waiting and working towards. And, progress, not perfection. It's not quite how I envisioned it, but I'm feeling led to just drop it and just give you this content. And I think you'll be so excited about the conversations that I have about moving your friendships from online friendships to offline friendships, or in real life friendships, I should say, as well as what does research say about the life cycles of friendships and how that all impacts. But before we get to all that, I want to capture and chat with you for a moment about the loneliness epidemic. And you may or may not have heard of this concept or this epidemic. And I've been doing research and learning that it has been an establishment since about 2023, 2024 by our former U.S. Surgeon General that declared it as a public health risk. And then Harvard began to look into this, and it's become a whole thing. Some of the research from Harvard indicates that about 21% of adults have serious feelings of loneliness. Do you want to guess what age group is the highest of the loneliness epidemic? Age 30 to 45. And I laugh because I'm in that age group. And I laugh because it's kind of an uncomfortable laugh. Like it's kind of like one of those cringy kind of laughs where you're like, no surprise, because I'm not feeling loneliness per se, like not serious loneliness, but I can totally understand considering that generation, that age bracket, I shouldn't say that generation, but that age bracket has most likely dealt with um, coming out of college and floating right into a recession, then feeling like they got their money up, right? From 2020, 2008, and until, 10 years from later, feeling like, okay, maybe they've become parents, maybe they're homeowners, maybe they're working a solid job. And then the pandemic hits and all the phases that we've all experienced with that. Plus, they came through dealing with 9/11 as well. And I feel like that's very monumental. And also that age group has known both analog and like internet. Like we've seen cable and no cable, We've had internet and no internet, and we know the facets of all of that. And that being in that generation, there's probably a lot to be studied about. Like that's primarily like in that millennial age, there's probably a lot to be studied and gleaned about how all the effects of technology and televisions in every home and color TVs and less outside experiences and more things on a screen can impact our overall well-being. That's something to be discovered. But back to the loneliness epidemic and how that's been impactful to us. There's no racial or gender correlation. However, those with lower incomes do have a higher loneliness, according to this Harvard business study, right? I think it also should be noticed some of the causes of loneliness, whoop, Freudian slip, would be technology, as well as insignificant time with family, being overworked, mental health challenges, and then living in a very individualized society. I find that with those causes, kind of back to what I was saying about that age group, it makes perfect sense because we've, in that age group, I'm gonna say we, because I'm a part of that age group, have been kind of like saw both sides, but weren't able to make the choice that we're just going to just do one or the other. Where I kind of feel like there are some people that are much older than us, maybe in their maybe this late 60s, 70s into 80s, where they didn't have to really adapt. I imagine around the time of the technology was being thrust into, like, take for instance how AI, artificial intelligence, is really becoming coming almost like a computer would be of a certain generation, of a certain time. I imagine people kind of had a little bit of a choice to be an early adapter or let it be thrust into them. And with things of technology, since we were kids in that age bracket, we didn't really have a choice. It just kind of, we were like, oh, okay, cool. Um, but not really knowing what the pros and the cons would be about the having so much technology and everything at our fingertips. Um, the insufficient time with family, and I'm gonna throw in friends. I think that kind of couples with being overworked, right? As was mentioned. Thinking about that age group again, 30 to 45, and knowing that's the one that has the serious loneliness. You have to kind of wonder, not only why, but is that just a natural ebb and flow? If we were to take this kind of research back, when our parents were in their 30s and 40s, would it still resonate the same? Because you're not quite in that sandwich well, you might generation where you have your child and you're kind of taking care of them as well as your parents, but you're getting to that stage where your head is really down and you're just focused in on just raising kids or focusing in on getting your career to a certain place and you're feeling like this is my biggest responsibility. And yeah, loneliness, abso-freaking-lutely. Another thing that I find pretty stinking interesting is that the age ranges, they just move, right? From the people that are feeling or that are also feeling this loneliness. Like, so the second group was 18 to 29. That was a range of 24%. And then 45 to 64, that was a rate of 20%. So in every age bracket, we have all been feeling this loneliness. And that's why I'm coming to you with this upcoming series about friendship. As I know it's not the complete and total solve during this month of mental health, but tapping in to your connections, be it your friends or your family, is a really good first step to being able to feel connected. And sometimes I feel like you may feel, well, I have a lot of friends in my head. I listen to a lot of podcasts and you follow certain people on social media and you feel like you know them. Like Tabitha Brown, for instance, she is a very popular influencer, TikToky, social media girly that really blew up on TikTok. I want to say during the pandemic, and I started to follow her because I enjoyed watching her style of how she would cook and prepare vegan food, but also just liking who she is and what she was doing on social media to the point where I feel like I kind of know her, but I don't. But I feel like I kind of know her. And I bring up friends in your head because a lot of times that's genuinely a decent and uplifting place to start. And then when you have those friends in your head, if they're online, do you take it to the comments and post something? Who knows, someone might like your comment and reach out. Or perhaps a thing, or in this case, Tabitha Brown is plant-based. Perhaps a certain topic that is related to someone that you enjoy watching on social media could lead you into a group that then you may continue to be active and communicate with people within that group until you naturally link up with someone, whether it just be DMing them and you're just kikiing, sending memes back and forth or reels back and forth, whatever platform you're on. That's like very low barrier to enter, even if you're not, even if you feel like, well, I don't have any friends. Being a friend is the first step to friendship, in my opinion. And I think that is one way to start finding your tribe. Because while you may think, oh, I don't have a friend, you probably have a relative that you're close to, a sibling, a cousin. Cousins are so underrated in some communities, but not in my community. I love my cousins. Um, and that friendship within itself can be uplifting. Another benefit or another thing you can do when it comes to reaching out to friends is to consider, is there someone you just haven't heard from in a while? I received two text messages yesterday from people I haven't heard from in a while. And one person just said, "Hey, I'm thinking of you. I just wanted to say hi. How are you doing?" And it made my day. And then another friend, I think he might have saw me on posting on social media. And he's like, "Oh, I'm going to be in town on this day." And then today, another friend that I was connected with back in high school was like, "I'm coming to town this day." And I'm like, this is wonderful. But I've continued to cultivate that and kept texting them and just reaching out to them. And so you may also feel like I have a bajillion people in my phone, but like if I were to reach out to them, would they actually answer? Oh, maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just how I feel. I'm like, oh, you're gonna talk to me or no? Um, but try just randomly texting someone you haven't talked to in a while and just say, "Hey, you popped in my mind. How are you?" That is incredible way to make someone know, like to make someone feel very special and let someone know that you're thinking of them. And in order for us to continue to just put love and light back into the humanity of this world, we got to be the love and light we want to see. And so, this whole loneliness epidemic, to me, in my unprofessional opinion, like, yes, like the study list things like reaching out to friends and family, learning to love yourself, learning to be more forgiving others. But ultimately, the way to combat this lonely feeling is to be the love and the light. We are the solve for this epidemic. And it's crazy if somebody doesn't want to take pills or vaccinations. This is the perfect epidemic for you because you're the solve, right? That was shady. I apologize. But yeah, imagine how much kindness can go for someone that's hurting or someone that's lonely. Imagine how far that can take a person if you're the love and the light they need in that day. That's why I'm become the girl that always makes sure I say hello to everybody because I want to be the love and the light somebody sees in that day. Well, as I have mentioned, this little special bonus episode, I might have gabbed on for a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I hope it was of value to you. As always, you can find me on social media on all platforms under Young Black Mrs. Check out my website for a blog post and like a blog post of this more information about the loneliness epidemic and that Harvard business article that I was mentioning as well as just other fun shenanigans that I've been blogging about. Yeah, if this is bringing some value to you, please be sure to share with your friends. That could be your reach out. You know what I'm saying? And if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, share, like, do all those cool things. Send me a comment about what resonated with you in this little chat. I'd love to hear it. And until next time, next podcast, I shall see you later. Happy May. It's almost summer. We're almost there. You know I had to do it, right? You know I had to do it.